In the middle of his rebellion, the entity known as Iblis admits to an absolute constraint on his influence. He identifies a specific state of the human soul where his interference simply stops working. The Quran defines the effect of Iblis through the lens of forgetting. In Surah Taha, a lack of firm resolve leads to the loss of the original covenant. Consciousness degrades into a state the text calls intoxication, a wandering, clouded awareness that loses its orientation. Iblis confesses that the mukhlas, those purified by Allah, are structurally beyond his reach. His request for respite until the day of resurrection includes an explicit admission: he cannot penetrate this specific protected class. This boundary functions as a separation between the volatile ego and a shielded core. While Iblis asserts his superiority, the purified soul becomes a zero, a node receiving the signal without inserting its own position. This interior chamber holds the soul's informational integrity intact, even as the external environment faces constant decay and noise. In a world where consciousness is under constant pressure to forget its origin, the challenge is how to build this chamber. The soul must find a way to enter a coordinate that is structurally sealed. Survival depends on identifying a coordinate where the interference of Iblis cannot operate. This is found by retreating to an internal, shielded space that the Quran maps through the womb and the cave. The Quran describes this protective seal beginning in the womb. This space serves as a pristine container where the divine signal remains shielded from the corruption of the outside world. Maryam illustrates this boundary. She withdraws to a place in the east, placing a veil between herself and her people. This isolation allows her to hold the word, the Ruh, as an uncorrupted vessel. When Musa is an infant, his mother surrenders him to the river. Trusting the water, she utilizes the river as an incubator, keeping the child safe from the lethal environment surrounding him. Musa is then preserved directly inside the palace of Pharaoh. Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, acts as his protector. She creates a seal of mercy inside the very house of the oppressor, allowing the child to grow in proximity to the divine. Pharaoh represents the opposite state. Verse 1092 explains that his body is preserved only as a jasad, a lifeless form without a function. He becomes a museum state, an empty shell that failed to develop an inner core. These maternal spaces function as filters. They remove the influence of the external system, so the uncorrupted signal can be maintained and eventually deployed. Chapter 18, Al-Kahf, manifests this maternal chamber as a physical coordinate, the cave. The youths in the cave ask for rushed, a specific guided direction through the unknown. They enter this space to preserve their faith against a society that demands informational and spiritual conformity. Inside this chamber, time operates differently. The sleepers remain in their cave for 300 years and add 9, yet their bodies do not decay. Their identities are preserved across centuries, entirely isolated from the corruption of the world. Verse 1817 provides the geometric proof. The sun rises and inclines away from their cave to the right, and when it sets, it passes away from them to the left. The sun, the primary timekeeper of the world, is forced to physically bypass the interior. The signal of worldly time passes around the cave without entering it. This demonstrates that the inner pattern is shielded from the distortion and entropy of the dominant field. The womb and the cave serve as identical technologies. They are incubators designed to temporarily remove the believer from the system to keep the currency of truth pure. These narratives of the womb and the cave describe active states available to the reader. They are the mechanisms through which the modern mind can find protection from forgetting. Verse 1912 provides the instruction for this entry. Yahya is told, "O Yahya, take the book with strength." This is a command to grip the text biqawa, with strength. It requires an active, forceful engagement where the self is integrated with the book. This active grip contrasts with those who hold the book through tradition alone. When held only for identity or power, the glass of the lamp becomes opaque, and the light within never ignites. Taking the book with strength involves direct contact with the word. This allows the reader to bypass external noise and institutional dependency, entering the same functional role as the prophets. Applying this strength transforms the book into a personal cave. The reader becomes a node where the circuit of the word closes, providing armor against the noise that causes the world to forget. Verse 3846 defines the data within this chamber. Allah purifies the chosen ones through a single, exclusive quality, the sincere remembrance of the home. The home, or al-dar, is the primordial coordinate of the soul. It is the original abode to which every departure returns. The Quran operates as the living memory of this home. It is the map through which the reader recognizes their origin and their return. Iblis manages the shell, but the core remains inviolable for those who remember. The memory is preserved. The cave is open. The instruction is to take the book with strength.